Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. Today, we kind of have a unique episode. We're going to talk a little bit about seasons of life and big transitions and how we handle them. And I'm kind of going through a couple actually,
You
really big
are.
transitions in my life right now, which kind of is bringing up this topic. Today is going to be my last episode as the host. Doesn't mean I won't be back, but Allie is
Yes.
going to take over as the host of the Empowerhead podcast, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited for you.
Oh, so
Um,
excited.
yeah, I know.
So
So many
excited.
exciting things coming on both ends. I mean, I feel super blessed to be a part of this for so long, and it really has been such a blessing in my life. But yeah, I mean, speaking of transitions, I have some, big stuff happening that I feel like, I've learned that sometimes in order to move on into a new season, you have to let things go. So
Yeah.
this is one of those things.
Yeah. Do you want to
Yeah.
share about it or not yet?
Oh, no, that's fine. I mean, so
Yeah.
my family and I, we are finishing up the process of being licensed to adopt a child. So we've been working on that the past couple of months, with the state.
Mm.
And yeah, so I mean it's very unknown. I mean I've been learning so much and God has really
Mhm.
been, putting people into my life that have helped me through this process already.
Yeah.
And I know will be like great support moving forward too, like as we start inquiring about certain children and whatnot. So yeah, it's been a really cool experience, but I mean moving forward, I just feel like I really need to focus on my family and expanding our family and helping
Yeah.
another little one. So yeah, so that's
I'm so
what's going
excited
on
for
with
you
us.
guys. You're
Thank
going to be
you.
amazing. Gray's going to be such a good big sister.
Yeah,
That's
she is.
awesome.
She's gonna be such a good sister. Yeah, we're
Mhm.
really excited. I mean, it's really scary, and I know it's scary for the child, too. So a lot of scary stuff happening, but it's very it's a good scary.
It's, yeah,
Yeah,
exciting, scary.
yeah,
Yeah.
exciting, scary. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're going to be missed, but you're definitely going to have to come on and share more when everything happens and, transpires because it's a process, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wish I could say like, we'll know when it will happen, but I mean, you really don't even know when you'll, find the right child for your family. And then, yeah, it's a pretty long process. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to come on and share my experience. I mean, hopefully it will be a positive one. I
Yes,
definitely don't expect it to be easy, but I mean, I know God, will provide, everything we need. And yeah, so
exactly.
yeah.
So we'll all keep you and your family in our prayers for
Yes,
sure.
please. We can definitely use, all the prayers for sure. Um so yeah, so that's I'm it's like it's so weird because I mean I have a 9-year-old and I feel
Mhm.
like becoming a mom is probably one of the biggest transitions you can do, right? When becoming a mom is
Yeah.
so much change and like you really don't have a choice. You just have to embrace it. And
Yeah.
this feels so different because we're choosing it and it also it takes time, so you almost have
Hmm.
too much time to prepare. I'm not the most patient person, so like me being patient and just waiting and
Yeah.
trying to do all the right things in the meantime, it's hard. And I feel like when you're pregnant you get that time to like nest, is that what we call it, nest, and like prepare.
Nesting. Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, I said to my husband, I'm like, I feel like I need to nest, so we're like starting to move rooms around and get some stuff like prepared.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just completely different. I don't really know what
It's
to
exciting.
expect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a big transition, but so is becoming a mom
Yeah.
naturally as well. Like, but you're becoming a mom all over again. And how exciting.
Yeah.
How do you feel this time around, having been through it and now having a 9-year-old? So you have experience in your belt.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this is gonna be so different because we are not getting like a baby. We're gonna adopt through foster care, so it will be an older child. We're looking at ages, I mean, 3 to 7 probably. I mean, we're open, but that's like the age
Hmm.
group that we're looking at.
Yeah.
So it's just so different. And like what we learned through our classes, these kids are getting taken away from their family, and there's a lot, sometimes trauma, there's obviously separation trauma and all this stuff. So I think it's going to be completely different. Even the way I parent has to be completely different towards these children because of the trauma that they have gone through. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep an open mind, just continue to learn. And like I said, God, it's kind of crazy. Like, God has put people into my life through this process that have either been adopted. They know of someone who's been adopted. They know of someone who has foster children, people that I can just talk to, someone that actually, had children and gifted them to someone else, and so just like from every different perspective, he's put that person in my life, so which has helped. And I still don't feel completely prepared, like I said, but it's definitely
you ever
like
do, right?
No,
like feel completely prepared.
No.
Are you doing closed or open adoption?
We're open to either. I mean, if the circumstances allow it, I would rather have it be open, but I mean, some circumstances don't allow that. So I mean, yeah, we're kind of go with the flow. Yeah.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
And how do your guys' families feel about this?
They're really supportive. I mean, again, I think it's hard, even for Gray. It's hard because like it's not like we're like, hey, we have Johnny and we're gonna adopt him. You don't even know, who you're going to adopt. So it's hard to imagine. I think for my family and for Gray, and it's also such a slow process. I think for her, she's like, well, what is taking so long, And then I was like, well, we're almost done our classes, and she's like, oh, so we're gonna adopt someone on the 24th, and I'm like, no. So I think it's just hard to like comprehend. But I mean, I think my family is definitely supportive, and I think that's so important during this process, just to have a really, really good support system. And yeah, so they're excited for us. I think it's unknown, you don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for you. I have butterflies about it. That's
Thank
so
you.
fun. I love it.
I know. It's crazy, but it's exciting. Yeah. And I mean, I think it was the other day when we were having coffee, you were like, Megan, how do you do it all? And like the truth is I don't. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I'm letting go of being the host of this podcast, because I think you really do have to let certain things go, no matter how important they are to you, to be able to focus on, a bigger picture of your future goals. And that's how I feel right now. And I have seen it in the past, where, even if it's something I absolutely love and I let it go, it really does open the door to something even bigger.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that you know that about yourself too, that that you can't do it all, instead of just trying to and then falling short or maybe getting burnt out, because that's really tough too.
Yeah.
To do that. It's tough either way, to let go of something you love or to keep doing
I mean, I try. Trust me, I try.
Yeah.
But I think you just get to the point where you're like, all right, how do I sustain this, right? And then if you think you can't, you don't see it in your future, then I think it's just a sign that sometimes you just have to let it go. And luckily I have you that can keep it going. And
I'm excited. Thanks for trusting it in me.
Yeah.
What a big honor.
No, I'm excited to see where you take it.
Yeah. So moving forward, you're still doing hair though, right?
Yes. Yep. So I still have my business. And that's another, huge thing that takes up a lot of my time. So, looking forward when I'm going to add a little one into my home, how do you balance, all that stuff? So again, it's kind of like just prioritizing, that's my main income. So, prioritizing my business, and it is something I really, really love to do. And being able to focus, my schedule around my child and my future children. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Good.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, what do you think was the biggest, because do you believe that you go through seasons of life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think was the biggest transition in your life?
Going from 0 kids to 1 kid was the biggest and hardest transition for me. I think before you have kids, you're so naive. At least I was. I mean, other people, maybe not. me, I felt so naive. I was like, you have kids and it comes naturally and you
Mhm.
do amazing and you're going to breastfeed and all these things, right?
Yeah.
And even down to labor, I had it backwards. I was like, labor is going to be the hardest thing on earth,
Mm.
but then you just push it out quick and then it's done, you
Yep.
know? No, labor was fine. Labor was great. I mean, it hurt, yeah, but
Right.
it was fine. 5 hours and 10 minutes later of pushing, and here she is. You know what I mean? Like, I had from the second everything happened, I just had everything backwards. Um, breastfeeding, you just think like that's natural. You breastfeed if
Mm.
you're a mom, if you want to, and it just works out. And no, it can be hard. It can be
Mhm.
a learning curve and all these things. And so, um, that was tough. That was tough. In
Mm.
thinking and trying to prepare myself and reading and watching all these videos. I mean, all the things, and then it just not being anything I expected, you know?
Yeah.
And the second time around, you kind of know what to expect, but you also kind of know like you don't know what to expect, and that's
Yeah.
okay
And you
because
have another
everything's
child
different.
too. Yeah.
Right. So the balancing,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
How
I
about
mean, it's
you?
true. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I only have one, so that's all I know. But
Well, yeah, but
um yes, because I mean, I grew up nannying, babysitting, and I'm like I've
yeah.
babysat infants till like, 7-year-olds, I'll be fine.
Mhm.
And yeah, you are fine. Obviously, you survive. But I just think it's like, yeah, breastfeeding was the hardest thing I ever went
Mhm.
through. I almost quit like a million times. I ended up making it through the first year of her life, which I'm so glad I did. But it was seriously, it was the hardest thing I ever did.
So hard.
Um, and I think we forget that each kid is so individualized. So we're like, oh, well,
Mhm.
I know this baby, and this baby. But it's like, well, they're not your own, and they're not like this individual baby that you have. It's
Right.
just everyone is so different. So it's always nice to hear and like listen to advice that other moms have. But you can't prepare yourself to know what your child is going to be like. It's just, what if they
Yeah.
have colic? What if they are an angel baby and they sleep through the night immediately? It's like you never know
You
what you're going to
don't.
get. So yeah, it was
It's
definitely the biggest transition for sure,
yeah.
becoming a
Yeah.
mom. Yeah.
I feel that. And I feel like with adoption, it's somewhat the same thing, right? I mean, you don't know what to expect, but you kind of have like I don't know. For me, I would feel like if I was adopting, like I would have all these like expectations of how I was going to parent and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but until they come, you really have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of are you reading anything or listening to podcasts or anything about it? Like, are you just
Um,
open? Like, we're just
Well, a lot of podcasts and reading come with the class that we're required to do.
okay.
But I mean, I think it is. Everything's so unknown, right? And again, each child's going to be so unique. It's just a lot of them come with more baggage, right? They've
Hmm.
had parts of life, even like learning that so much happens even in utero, how
Hmm.
the mom acts, how her stress is she doing drugs, alcohol, all this stuff, or maybe she had a super healthy pregnancy.
Hmm.
All that stuff matters down to like the detail on what's going to happen with this child. Because, even an infant that is left, in a crib by themselves crying, that can really damage them, just as much as an older child being separated from their parent. Or even, how they talk about that golden hour after you have your baby and you lay them right on your chest. If a baby isn't loved or touched immediately, as sad as that is, that can really, really affect them. So think about
Yeah.
someone even adopting an infant right from the hospital. If that baby didn't go to their mom, no one was there, right? No one was touching that baby. So even that can
Hmm.
affect them. So it's just, there's so much, right? Like, I don't know. So you
Yeah.
really have no idea what their past is. So it's more just like they're coming in with a little bit. And I wouldn't call it baggage. It's just their story, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't mean that they're like damaged or like it can't be loved or nurtured and grow into a really strong, successful human being. It's just completely different than you having control of your pregnancy and,
Right.
eating healthy food or like, it's just like you have no control over where they're coming from. And neither do they. They're a child.
Right.
They're so
Yeah.
innocent in it all. And so it's really just like being open and accepting of, their story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I feel like God calls specific people to this because it's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even in your own, like, even getting pregnant, you could have a baby with, you know, a birth defect or something like
Mhm.
that along the line. So it's kind of the same thing in the sense that like things out of your control can happen and then you're just going to love them regardless because it's your child and
Mhm.
God made them the way they are and stuff. So, you know, that's a good way to kind of look at it and view it too. Is
Yeah.
like things could happen, but they can be great, you know.
Oh,
I think everyone
absolutely.
just needs love,
Yeah.
just like you said.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I mean, obviously some stuff is like permanent when there's permanent like brain damage or if they do have
Right.
some disability or whatnot, but other stuff it isn't. They can learn how to do different stuff that they weren't taught. They can learn how to attach, they can learn how to love, they can learn how to
Yeah.
trust, again.
Mhm.
So, I think just like Willis and I trying to equip ourselves and prepare ourselves to be able to support them in the best way that we can is where we're at right now. And
Yeah.
I think we're kind of leaving it to God to send the child that is right for our family to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It is. It's exciting. It's weird talking about it as I really haven't like publicly. I mean, a lot of people know, of course, and stuff, but
Yeah.
publicly put it out there. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this next chapter, I guess you could call it, because I think it really
Yeah.
is going to be such a new chapter in our lives. It's going to be a huge change for our family. Obviously, Gray's been an only child for 9 years. And
Mhm.
yeah, I was saying to you the other day when we were having coffee, like I have to start over again, even if it's not a baby, say it's a 4-year-old or, I'm used to having a
Yeah.
very independent 9-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's just completely, completely different. So it will be hard, but a good hard, a good change
Yeah.
for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you pursue this more? Did Willis, or was it just a complete combination of like, let's do this? We feel so called to it.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think we both of us had in our minds that maybe someday we'd want to expand our family, and just like as time went on, we were like, we figured out our options, right? Like, I mean, I could get pregnant again. I'm not like I can get pregnant. I mean, I am 40, that it is older, but we're like, no, that doesn't feel right. Like, there's so many kids out there that need homes. And so we just kind of started looking into that and talking about that, and we really felt called to put ourselves out there and
Mhm.
be able to be that safe place for a child or possibly siblings. We are open to that. And yeah, that just felt
Yeah.
right. And this time, like when we started our classes, I think right after the new year. But yeah, in the fall, we were just like, I think we're ready. I had my business for over almost a year now. I felt a little bit more
Mhm.
stable, financially and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know, it just felt right. And we met our caseworker. And again, I was like, I don't know, I'm like, I don't know, I like him. He feels right. Like it just felt like it all fell into place because we did kind of go back and forth a little bit. Like, when you're going in to start these classes and get certified in a certain state, each state is different with their requirements. So before we
Mhm.
started, we're like, we need to make sure this is where we want to stay, right? Like, are we going to
Yeah.
stay here? Is New York where we want to be? Because like once we start this, we don't really want to go and then have to start the process all over again. So that was a whole thing. And again, God
Mhm.
was just, I feel like he really has called us here. It's been almost 3 years, and it's been a tough couple of years. This past year has been great, but a lot of lessons, a lot of learning, a lot of hurt and struggle. But again, I'm
Yeah.
like, God has us here for a reason. And when I met that caseworker, I was like, you know what? I think we should really like give our all, give 100% here. The area is wonderful. We have a wonderful church. Gray has a wonderful school, so many wonderful things
Mhm.
here. And, I love where my business is, all these things. And, so there was a lot of deciding factors, but I felt like every single one of them just pointed to us adopting here in New York. And maybe the child won't even come from New York, but just like being
Mhm.
certified here in New York. So
Yeah.
we were kind of on the same page with it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's
how
all
people
good
go.
to know because I never thought about that either. Like different states will have different processes and stuff like that. But that's good to know for people out there who might want to adopt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's actually there's like adoption friendly states, and it doesn't mean they're not friendly. But I think just like some of the rules are a little bit easier for parents that are trying to adopt versus states
Mhm.
that aren't adoption friendly, where there's I don't know how to explain it. There's just rules that make it a little bit more difficult and might take a little bit more time to be able to adopt a child.
Oh, well, good to know.
I know.
I had no idea. It makes sense though, right?
There's so much to learn, and I feel like right now we are just like kind of skimming the surface. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like we watched a history on it when we first started our classes, and I'm pretty sure like dog adoption became legal before child adoption. Like it's like hasn't even been around for that long.
It's wild.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So they've come so far since like the 60s and 70s. And they always have the child's best interest in mind. That's their number one concern, whether it's foster care or adoption. So
Hmm.
it's a cool system, and I respect and like admire the people that work, in
Yeah.
social work and work with these kids. They're incredible.
Yeah. That's amazing. And it
Yeah,
takes a special person to do that, you
it
know?
really does. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I'm so excited for you guys, and I can't wait
yeah.
to meet whoever it is you guys adopt. I'm
I
so
know.
excited.
Yeah, me too. I'll have to. I mean, obviously, I'll be listening because I know Allie's going to do
Yeah.
amazing things. So everyone definitely keep in touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys know where to find me. You can find me at the salon. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. If you have questions,
Hmm.
definitely reach out. I'm happy to talk about it. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, it'll be good.
All right, Megan. How do you feel about saying bye?
It's not goodbye. It's just see you later.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah,
True, true.
yeah. And I mean, we're in the capital region. I feel like this podcast has really connected me with so many women in this area. So I feel like I still see everybody here and there, whether
Yeah.
it's at like an event or whatnot or at church. So
Your church. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a see you
So many,
later.
so many ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I know you'll kill it, Allie. And you'll have
Thanks.
incredible women on here and,
Yeah.
keep helping moms all over the place.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. Can't wait.
All right. Well, thank you guys so
All
much. I
right.
am so grateful for all of you and all of this. Yeah.
All right. Bye, Megan.
Bye. Have a good one.